Shalom, call all y'all about Shem Shah. Shalom to the look. I was trying to find this older video when the devil built snakes when he was on here talking about this virus and how to prevent a virus and all this other stuff, whatever. But keep in mind, this is in 2015. Now, hold on, let me get my camera a little bit more clear. You can see the screen. Yeah, this is in 2015. You see the actual date? Hold on, my bad. Let me get this camera all the way clear. I have my phone laying down on the table. In April, right? So just listen to what he said, and then think about what's going on now. And I'm gonna pull some precepts and stuff too in the middle of this.
They saved the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas...
Which, he's lying about that, because it wasn't luck. And they've been controlling these viruses and testing them out just to see how they actually act and how they spread in the urban areas. That's why he said the urban area. He didn't say suburban areas. Who live in the urban areas? On this little stone right here, that's actually down south, it's called the Georgia Guidestones. And one of the main things it says, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Now, who the fuck they think they is to try to maintain humanity? And you already know who put this up there. And then our people go put this stuff down there. This Esau, this bullshit. You see, the Most High got them in a real trick bag. Because they are going to actually take out a lot of people. Because a lot of people, they're not hearing the word. They're not actually applying it. And nor do they even care. But they listen to what devils like this say and eat it up. Now, let me read this scripture real quick. It's in the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 28. It says, when the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. There's another one that says, in the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 12, it says, when the righteous triumph, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, men hide themselves. That's what you have. You have a lot of people actually don't even go out like that. Be ducked off, so to speak, hiding out. It's another one I want to go into. It's in the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Which that was the main thing I want to get into anyway, because in this one video, it says rent crisis worsens, record high unemployment continues, and people pissed off with it. That's why they're protesting, rioting, doing what they do. And the reason why all that's happening, because the wicked is in power, not the righteous.
The case numbers would have been much larger. So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market.
Which goes to show they manufacture this shit, because listen to what they say in this video.
Statements from health officials.
How did it come to that in the most advanced country in the world?
You know, public health is like watching paint dry for a lot of people. Not much is happening. If you don't hear from them, you don't notice they're doing anything. But in fairness, that's what success looks like. You never hear from them. They get ahead of a problem, they deal with it, and it goes away. Take the flu. They monitor the flu. We have all kinds of tools to do that. But you've got a major advantage. With the flu, people tell you they're sick. And then you can say, okay, we have 10 people here are sick, 25 people there that are sick. We got to be careful in this area. With this virus, 40% of the spread is probably asymptomatic. Now, maybe asymptomatic people don't spread it quite as much as someone who's coughing and hacking and sneezing, but it makes it really hard for a public health service to figure out who's sick if you can't tell and they can't tell.
Oh, hold up. Let's run this shit back. What did he say on here?
You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism.
Oh, bioterrorism. Let's go into this word real quick. Who would do such a thing? Who would do such a thing? CDC. It says bioterrorism is terrorism involving the intentional release or dissemination of biological agents. These agents are bacteria, viruses, insects, fungi, or toxins that may be in a naturally occurring or human modified form. What do the CDC do? But you had them telling people that, oh, this is going on, or these are numbers, or this is what's happening, or whatever. That's Esau for you, man. That's the shit that they do. Let me go into some more precepts real quick. I'm just read on. Let's see. I'm just reading on through this in the book of Proverbs. I don't want to stretch this out too long. I just want to touch on some points about how the rent crisis and all this different stuff, it ultimately comes from the Most High. But Esau, they had this time to actually do something right, but they don't want to do right though. So they're going to get that judgment. Anyway, it's in the book of Proverbs chapter 28. I'm going to start at verse 3. It said, a poor man that oppresses the poor is like a sweeping rain, which leaving no food. Because ultimately the Edomites, they're really poor. They're really poor in spirit, so to speak. Because if they was rich in the spirit, they'd be trying to make sure the world was taken care of, people were taken care of, but they really don't. Now it says, they that forsake the law praise the wicked, with such as keep the law continually, which you see certain men doing. It says in verse 5, evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord Yahweh understand all things. And this right, let's see how quick I can just piece that together. This is from 2015. Now we're in 2020. So 5 years ago, really before that, I just found a little clip that I seen previously. Basically, they already schemed this shit up. And who they really want to attack? The urban areas, so to speak. Because they'd be like, oh, well, the African Americans and the Latinos, those are the ones who actually have the virus more than any other people, which is completely bullshit. But that's just what Esau like to push out in the media. Let me go down some more. It's in the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 6. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. It's a devil right here. He rich, but he got perverse ways. Only a devil would go sit back and create a virus to try to wipe out mosquitoes and shit like that. And then babies and women getting sick. That's a perverse method right there. Really, that's bioterrorism when you think about it. But see, they push this narrative out about who the terrorists are when really they the fucking terrorists. Now, let me see, let me go on some more. Oh, here go another one right here. Verse 10, it says, whoso causes the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit. but the upright shall have good things in possession. And these Edomites, they're going to fall into their own pit, them creating these viruses. And earlier in the video, he said something about a nuclear weapon. So let me go into it. Let's see what it was at.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about most was a nuclear war. That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement, filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today,
Do you
the
have people,
greatest...
them same people laughing? Oh, they're going to be scattering like roaches when that shit actually take place. So, they know about nuclear weaponry and nuclear war. That's why they have bunkers. And best believe, this devil still got him a bunker somewhere. Matter of fact, he just bought a big ass boat that can stay on top of the water and go under the water. So they know some type of judgment coming. They ain't just worrying about no damn viruses either. Let me go down some more. Oh, verse 11. The book of Proverbs chapter 28 say, the rich man is wise in his own conceit. This guy, people look at him like, oh, that's Bill Gates. He wise. He's the guy that did the what Microsoft and all that shit. It says, the rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor have understanding search of him out. And hey, I will be considered the poor searching stuff out. This is stuff people be scared to talk about when they get a little money and get in a certain position because they be scared of Esau and all that shit. But they don't. If they believe in the Most High, then He'll be with them. They don't believe in themselves. They end up getting jacked up. Because you can't expect help from somebody that you don't believe in. Now, let me read on some more. Oh, here go another one, verse 15. It says, as a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is the wicked ruler over the poor people. And that's these damn Edomites, man. Like, I could go on and on about this. That's why I wanted to go into the book of Proverbs and go on about how the wicked do what they do. And basically who that fit to this day. And I'm going to go in the book of Malachi and break that down again, too. Let's see. Okay, verse 18. It said, whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. And the rulers of Babylon, the rulers of these different nations and stuff, they're going to fall at once. As soon as they plans seem like it's coming to fruition, it ain't going to work. That's when it's going to fall. They have people chip, the RFID chip, different stuff locked down, whether it be stores, cities, states, or whatever. Let me go on some more. All right, that's all I'm going to get in that one. In the book of Proverbs, let me see. Let me go in the book of Malachi. In the book of Malachi. And chapter 1, I'm going to start at. It's on verse 3, it says, and I hated Esau, for everybody be talking about the Most High love everybody and everything or whatever. It says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. That's why when you look up Mount Petra or Mount Seir, Caucasus Mountains and all that stuff, it's basically a wasteland. Nobody want to, you don't hear nobody talking about, oh, we finna go take a vacation out the Caucasus Mountains, or we finna go to Mount Seir, where they always want to go to somewhere else, predominantly Western Africa or over in Israel, even though we're not really scattered over there in Israel all as much as we scattered over here in America. And that's why all these heathens like to come over here. Now, in verse 4 it says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and will build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They should call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh have indignation forever. And your eyes shall see, and you shall say, Yahweh will be magnified from the border of Israel. And that's what's going to happen, man. Like back in Proverbs, I'm going to go back into it one more time. The righteous shall see the fall of the wicked. Oh, better yet, I'm going to go in the book of Psalms. I don't even want to go into Proverbs right now. It says, in the book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 10, it says, the righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. And that's what's going to go on, man. I'm trying to find something else real quick. That's exactly what's going to go on. Man, these Edomites know it. Hold on, give me 1 minute. Try to find stuff out about the market that I'm in this video of.
Acquisition SPAC, that's where the energy is. If I want to continue to beat the market, I got to be there, which means I'm going to take profits in these great, wonderful companies that are selling for 50 or 60 times their revenue. I mean, it's tired. We broke 11,000 in NASDAQ. That's really the support. So I'm looking for another 10%, just simply until we get seller's exhaustion. Right now, the game is IPOs and SPACs, baby.
And I wanted to talk about that IPO of Snowflake because it was up more than 111% at close of trading on Wednesday. The company raised more than $3 billion based on just the opening price alone. That's more than any software company ever. But of course, it's already lost 10% on Thursday, or more than 10%, really. What's your take on this IPO beyond what you just said there? And do you see this downward trend going to last for a while? Because, like you said, they're not making anything close to what their market cap was.
Yeah, I mean, Snow is an outlier because Warren Buffett was putting money in and Salesforce, et cetera. But remember, they left $3.8 billion on the table. In other words, that's the whole reason why these special acquisition deals, SPACs, are being done, because then you negotiate your price up front. You're not leaving money. If you're looking to raise $1.2 billion, you raise $1.2 billion, and you're not then the next day having your stock be up 150%, which meant you probably only needed to sell half the amount of shares.
In 2014, in Ferguson, Missouri, 18-year-old Michael Brown was shot and killed by police, leading to a civil rights uprising and weeks of protest.
Hey, and that's in the scriptures too. That's in the book of Psalm chapter 55, verse 11. It says, wickedness is in the midst thereof, deceit and guile depart not from our streets. And that's why you see all this stuff going on, uprisings, people wilding out in the streets, breaking windows and shit, burning cars up, going at it with the police.
This week on Contact, host Chris Hedges spoke with the director of the film Ferguson Rises. He explains while making the movie, the story evolved to cover not only the young man that was shot, but also the need for racial healing in the community and the civil unrest across the...
Well, see, if our people really actually paid attention to these scriptures and really read them and comprehended them, they will understand. The people that you see, the ones that's actually ruling, the white people or whatever, so-called white people, because they're not white, they're really pale and red when they get heated or whatever conditions they be in. Those are the people that go back to Esau. And scripture actually says Esau sought after Jacob's life. So when they come against our people, that's because it's in their spirit to do so. No matter how much they might try to play like they like you or whatever. And then side note also, because you do have a parable about the wheats and the tares. You have some of our people scattered amongst them, and vice versa. Because you see some of our people be black as tar, and you be looking at them like, damn, why this nigga cooning so hard? That really might be a tear. Hey, on the outside he look like us, on the inside he ain't us. And vice versa, it go both ways. Just like our people been scattered amongst all nations. So, you know, you gotta have that gift of discernment to even really be able to understand that, because most people, they don't really think that deep. They just look at skin tone. They don't actually look at actions. But predominantly, who was really doing the bullshit. Let me go into this real quick. Not the rent that I'm in, so.
New York, you have, your hometown of, San Diego, in California, you have these people that are 3 to 4 months behind on rent. So while, yes, they have a little bit of a breather until January 2021, it's not going to make up for a lot once January 1st hits, that's for sure.
So the first thing that struck me when I was watching your reporting...
And see, that's when winter really get harsh, though. Like right around January, February time.
You were doing on this earlier this week, was the involvement of the federal government now, when in reality millions of Americans have struggled with rent and housing insecurity for years. I was kind of wondering where the line is, where we offer this kind of aid, what that magic number is before, a moratorium on rent and federal intervention. Can you tell me a little bit about the numbers before, how many people were struggling to pay rent before the pandemic?
Well, in order to look at that, you have to actually look back at the 2008 financial crisis, when you had tons of people that were evicted from their homes. And what people realized then is when you had these homes that went into foreclosure, you had people evicted, what happened was you had these landlords or, people looking to buy property, buying this land for really, really cheap. And then they realized, you know what, instead of selling this and having people buy this and possibly maybe going into foreclosure, it's better to actually rent. The reason why? Well, it takes longer in the court system to go through a foreclosure. And if somebody can't pay their rent for 1 month, well, it's much easier to evict them and find somebody else that can come in and pay the rent that month. So you have to go all the way back, like I said, to the 2008 financial crisis. And, while these people realize, again, that it's easier to rent, even houses. People are renting houses now. It was one of these things where people realize that they're not going to want to have that same mistake again. So instead of buying, or instead of giving these homes or these condos or what have you for people to own themselves, it's much easier and much more profitable to rent them to people.
So interesting. So we have about 2 minutes left. I mean, earlier in the show, I was talking about how economists are concerned about the stability of a recovery because we're still unsure what lawmakers will be doing to offer Americans further aid. They're still deadlocked. And some people don't expect a resolution on this until after the election. What role does that timetable play in all of this?
All right, and I'm going to pause it right there. People is expecting that they're going to bug out even more once they see their expectations don't be met. Let me find this other scripture real quick. Okay, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12. I'm going to read on down from verse 1. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth." Because, like other scriptures say, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found." Don't wait when shit hit the fan and be talking about, "God, help me out." Because they ain't hearing that. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, when the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." Hey, and me personally, because I know about music, and that music business ain't booming like that. And that's why I see a lot of these other artists doing a lot of these antics to make money and all type of other little gimmicks and shit. Because the music ain't really selling like it used to. There's money still in it, but it ain't like how it used to be. Now, verse 5, it says, "Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets." But you see that going on now. It says, "Or ever the silver cord be loose, or the golden bowl be broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel be broken at the cistern, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it." Which, that should let you know, ain't no hell. People always talk about, burn it up in hell. No, the scriptures clearly let you know the spirit go to who made it. It ain't just, if the spirit made a fire, how it's going to burn up in fire? But, that ain't in the main point of this video. The main point is Remember the Creator in the days of thy youth. Seek the Lord while he may be found. The stuff that's going on right now, it ain't gonna turn around. Esau gonna play little games and probably dish out some more money, and eventually push out the RFID chip, make stuff look like it's sweet. Then the domino effect gonna keep going. So, just stay alert, stay vigilant. Lord's witness is edifying. Call all y'all about Shalom and shalom to the left.